G4S are on the 5th floor of that company there. They are complicit in the torture and sexual abuse of Palestinian children. They go to our villages. They take our children from their beds while they're sleeping, 3 o'clock in the morning, for no reason. They take them to their prisons and force them to sign false confessions in Hebrew. Our children don't read Hebrew, our children read Arabic, and they have to sign it. Or they have their bodily parts manhandled and mistreated. So our children are forced to sign. Then they're taken to court for crimes that they haven't committed and false confessions. And then they take our children to prison and they torture and they sexually abuse our children for years. And we don't even know what's going to happen to our children. All we want is human rights. Human rights for our children. We ask that they be allowed to play, have fun, go to school, have the freedom that children in this country have. That's all we ask for, is human rights for our children. Stop torturing our children. Stop abducting our children. Stop putting our children in Israeli prisons for crimes that they haven't committed. We demand freedom and human rights for Palestinian children. Stop abducting our children. Stop torturing our children. Stop sexually abusing our children. Stop putting our children in prison. Our children should be in school. Our children should be playing football. Our children should be swimming. Our children should be allowed to go to the beach and have fun. But no, they take our children and they put our children in prison and they sexually abuse our children.
Israël, assassin d'enfants, kidnappeur d'enfants, tortureur. Israël, apartheid. Israël, assassin. Israël, criminel.
Israelíes, asesinos de niños, son una vergüenza para la humanidad. Israelíes, asesinos de niños, son una vergüenza para la humanidad. Israelíes, asesinos de niños, son una vergüenza para la humanidad.
We are here today outside the headquarters of British security contractor G4S to demand justice for the Harrods boys. The boys remain caged indefinitely and their families are facing financial ruin in the process. If the 5 boys are convicted, they will be locked up for over 25 years. 5 young lives ruined with no evidence of a crime, let alone their guilt. G4S is complicit in these abductions because it provides the security for Israel's dungeons where these children are caged and abused. Shame on you, G4S!
Shame on you, G4S!
Shame on you, G4S! We are here to demand the immediate release of the Harrods boys. So we want freedom for Tara Souf, freedom for Ali Shamlawi, freedom for Al Souf, freedom for Mohammed Solomon, and freedom for Mohammed Khan. And we are here to demand G4S stop its complicity in Israel's violations of basic human rights by immediately ending its contracts with Israel's dungeons and torture dens, and to pull out of Israel. Free the Harrods boys! Free Palestine!
We are the people, and this is our time. Stand up, sing out for Palestine. Down the road, freedom for Palestine. Demand justice for all. Freedom for Palestine. Enough illegal occupation, violence and racial segregation. All religious communities unite. Freedom is a human right. We are the people, and this is our time. Stand up, bring out.
Israeli dungeons and torture dens where Palestinian children are caged and abused. One of these dungeons is the notorious Al-Jalami interrogation center in northern Israel, where Palestinian children as young as 12 years old are caged 3 floors below the surface in tiny children's cells, filthy dark holes in the ground where a child is locked up without charge or trial in solitary confinement for up to 65 days in order to break them. Their only escape is the interrogation room where the children, shackled by hands and feet, are abused and tortured by the Israeli secret police for over 6 hours at a time, until they confess to trumped-up charges, usually of throwing a stone, which carries a penalty of up to 20 years. G4S secures this hellhole. Shame on you, G4S!
Shame on you! G4S! Shame on you!
The cells at Hasharon are overcrowded and dirty and infected with rats and cockroaches. There is a total absence of basic hygiene. G4S secures this hellhole. Shame on you, G4S. Then there is Israel's Megiddo prison, where the 5 Hares boys have been caged for over 2 years. Megiddo is also where Arafat Jararat, a young Palestinian father of 2 children, aged 4 and aged 3 years old, he was tortured to death on the 23rd of February 2013. G4S secures this hellhole. Shame on you, G4S! We demand that G4S immediately stop its complicity in this torture of Palestinians by Israel. Stop the torture! Free Palestine!
We are here today outside the headquarters of British security contractor G4S to demand freedom for the 300 Palestinian children Israel has abducted and caged in prisons secured by G4S, and to demand G4S end its complicity in this crime. One of the young children is Khalid Hossein Sheikh, a 15-year-old schoolboy who is being caged at Israel's G4S secured off-air prison. Khalid is from the village of Beit Annan in West Jerusalem. On Christmas Day, Khalid was abducted by Israeli soldiers from outside his home near Israel's illegal apartheid wall. They took him to Benjamin Interrogation Center. When his father saw him at midnight the same day, he said his son's face showed signs of the brutal beatings he had received. That was the last he saw of his son. Khalid was moved to Israel's G4S secured off-air prison, where all family visits have been denied. The occupation has also denied Khalid essential medical treatment. Khalid suffers from several health issues, including anemia. At the military hearing, when Khalid's father pleaded with the judge to let Khalid have his medication, the judge dismissed him, saying that the 15-year-old schoolboy was a security threat to the state of Israel. On the 25th of February 2015, the military court convicted Khalid
on the usual trumped-up charge of throwing stones and sentenced the 15-year-old schoolboy to 4 months imprisonment and a $500 US fine and 5 years probation. Khalid's family are fearful for his health and are urging activists around the world to intervene to secure the release of their son. Khalid's father has been threatened and detained for publicizing his son's plight and for asking international help to free his son. Last year, Israel abducted 1,266 Palestinian children. That's one child taken from their parents every 7 hours. G4S is complicit in these abductions because it provides the security for Israel's dungeons where these children are caged and tortured. Shame on you, G4S!
Shame on you! G4S!
Shame on you, G4S!
Shame on you!
40% of the 600 children that were taken from Jerusalem alone were sexually abused by Israeli soldiers during arrest or interrogation. During interrogation, 75% of Palestinian children detained by Israel are physically tortured. G4S provides the security systems which keep these torture dens operational. Prisoners who have survived these hellholes recall seeing G4S logos on the cameras that witnessed their abuse. Shame on you, G4S!
Shame on you, G4S!
Shame on you, G4S!
Shame on you, G4S! Torturers!
We are here to demand the immediate release of all 300 Palestinian children that Israel is caging, including Khalid Sheikh, and for G4S to stop its complicity in Israel's violations of basic human rights by immediately ending its contracts with Israel's dungeons and torture dens and to pull out of Israel. We demand the freedom for the children. Free the children. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
We are also here today to demand the freedom for Khalida Jarrar, who was abducted from her home in the early hours of this very morning. Khalida Jarrar is an elected member of the Palestinian parliament. She has dedicated her life to defending Palestinian political prisoners in occupation dungeons. She chairs the Prisoners Committee of the Parliament and is former executive director of Adamir Prison Support and Human Rights Association and is a member of its board. Yesterday, Khalida Jarrar spoke passionately against the Israeli-backed Saudi bombing of Yemen at a rally in Ramallah. Today, in the early hours of this morning, on the 2nd of April 2015, dozens of Israeli soldiers raided her home, kicked her door down, and dragged her away whilst holding her husband in a separate room. This isn't the first time the occupation has targeted Khalida Jarrar. Last August, Israel tried to enforce an illegal expulsion order, expelling her from her home in Ramallah to exile in Jericho, effective within 24 hours. Jarrar refused to sign the expulsion order, saying, "You, the occupation, are killing our Palestinian people. You practice mass arrests. You demolish homes. You kidnap people from their homes and deport them. It is you who must leave our home." The expulsion order violated the 4th Geneva Convention, which prohibits such forced transfers. Khalida Jarrar moved into a protest tent outside the Palestinian Parliament building in Ramallah. She announced that she was going to stay and continue her work from there until the decision is revoked. She won, and the illegal order was revoked. There are now 18 members of the elected Palestinian parliament imprisoned by Israel. We stand in solidarity with Khalida Jarran and demand Israel immediately release Khalida and the other 18 members of the Palestinian parliament. Freedom for Khalida!